All right, I'm recording. For those who were not here in the beginning, I went over to Forex 101. There is a boot camp that Manny Quinones is doing on Go Live. He started today at 9 a.m., but it's going to be every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. And he's starting at the very basics of what is Forex, history of the market, what is traded in Forex, etc. It's like all the stuff you would see in Forex 101 or the beginning academy of iMarkets Live, because he knows, there's a lot of people jump in and they go straight to the advanced training. They don't take the time to go get the required basics. Everybody wants to come in making money straight off the bat. And a lot of people get on these sessions and get their head busted or get confused or get frustrated and leave. So everybody really needs to get the basics. If you are new, if you hadn't already been trading, you don't know how to properly identify structure, supply and demand, and you don't know what Forex really is and what moves the market, it would be good for you to be on these sessions. If you can't catch them live because you work, just remember anything in Go Live is immediately available as soon as the session ends. So you can go right here and get the replay for video 1, What is Forex? As he releases these every day, I'll try and upload them in here to make them easy for you guys to find. So how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good?
Doing good.
Good.
All right. Does anybody
Doing great.
Awesome. Anybody got any questions about anything before we take a look at the market? Everybody
Yeah,
good?
I was looking at my Forex book, the app that gives you updates on news, and like when it's on a particular currency, I see the words cons, CONS, and another word that says like PREV. Like I don't know if that's previous but I didn't know what cons meant and what the PREV meant.
I don't use my
when it's
FX
showing
book,
you.
but I don't use my FX book. I know Celeste does. Let's see. I use Forex Factory. What are you looking at? The news?
Well, I'm attempting to try to, thrive to actually get updates on news so I can start, getting better. So
The simplest place to go for news is forexfactory.com. As a new trader, don't go to anything complicated. Forex Factory, and has all the news just listed by day and time. The most important thing is making sure that it's reflecting your time zone at the top right corner. Let me log in.
Do they have a Forex Factory app?
I don't know.
All right, I'll look into it, but thank you. I appreciate that.
But the most important thing is make sure you're on the right time zone. On the top right, you can set your time zone if it's not. Then the second thing, I go and I filter out. I only want to see red and orange folder news. So I go to my filters and I apply it there. And that's all. I don't want to know about yellow or holidays because I'm aware of the holidays. But these are the only things I look at are the red and the orange. If I want to look at certain currencies, I just go here. Like if I just want to know what's going on with GBP and USD because I'm trading that pair, this would give me all the news that's going to affect it the next week. So if you're trading GBP USD, it would be moving tomorrow, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, all right, any other questions before we look at the market about anything? Nope, no questions about anything? So who has a pair you guys want to look at? Anybody see anything setting up you guys want us to analyze? And I will tell you, I got a new computer. It's hard for me to see the chat right now. So if you're chatting, you can unmute yourself. It's popping up somewhere and I have no idea where it is. So if you're in the chat, you feel free to unmute yourself. Oh, here it is. That was Georgette. Anybody want to look at a certain pair? Anybody? Nobody?
Yeah, I want to look at GN.
Yeah. As you guys see over here, I had the whole market marked up. So let's see where GN is. All right, GN hit the daily trend line, gave us an engulfing and creating a flag to the upside on the daily. You see that? Impulse making a correction on the daily. So our 4 hour, there you go, impulse flag, giving us the continuation on the 4 hour. All right. We got to see right now it's making a bearish movement on the 1 hour. My bias right now, the daily is stronger than the 4 hour and the 1 hour. It did give us an impulse correction, continuation correction. It's reversed a little. So this is when you start dissecting it. All right. So on the 15 minutes, you got impulse. And look, where's my tools? I'm telling you, I'm getting used to this new computer. Gave us an impulse to the downside, but it gave us a descending channel and it broke out and it's going back up. So all right. Let's mark it up from scratch together. When they get in the middle of a move, I don't get in it until it determines where it's going to go. Now, if we had caught it from the bottom where it bounced off that trend line, we would be sitting pretty. All right, what do we look for on our monthly? Anybody? What are we looking for on our monthly?
Supply and demand zones.
All right, our low and our high. Do y'all want to take this low or do you want to take this one?
I was gonna ask why so close.
See, I'm doing this for a reason.
Okay, the second one.
So y'all want to take the one from here? Okay.
I say keep the one you had.
That
Yeah,
one.
keep the other one.
So we're going to look
keep
at
the
it.
one you have.
Yeah, we're going to look at it both ways. All right, if we keep that and we go to our weekly, we see we had a W and it rejected off this weekly zone. All right. And see, that's why I took this one. I already knew it was in this zone, because if you take this one here at the bottom, you really don't have any structure. You would have had a buy going on up here. And see, it's broken that and it keeps rejecting off this zone. So that's why I didn't take that one, because I already knew where it was in the market. All right, on our weekly, we have a strong rejection from the weekly zone right here. All right, for those of you who know, we look for the engulfing candle to the left to find our zones to where the market could pull to and reject, okay? So this is our zone right here where we're looking for either a strong reversal or a breakthrough, and we got the strong reversal. We got a weekly engulfing. All right. So if we get an impulse to the downside, what do we look for to happen next? To confirm that this is the new move, that we're going to be in a sell overall in the higher time frame, what must the market do?
Correct it though.
Flag.
Flag, correct.
So does it look like it's making a flag?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Do you know how to spot an aggressive move versus a corrective move?
Yeah, correctives are sideways, like.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you a question. This move right here, is that aggressive or corrective?
Aggressive.
Okay. Let me make it where I can see it. I can't see that. Can't see that. I make a good color here. All right. Can you guys see that arrow just fine? It went away now. All right, let me do it like this. So we agree this is an aggressive move, right? Is this move here aggressive or corrective?
Corrective.
That's corrective.
right? So then we had another aggressive, but this also moved up aggressively. It didn't make a pattern. So we had a corrective move, then an aggressive, and another aggressive, but it got to our weekly reversal zone and rejected hard. It gave us, what kind of candle is this?
Engulfing.
Right. And what normally happens when we get an engulfing candle?
Change in direction. Yeah. Reversal.
Right. All right. So this is real ugly on the lower time frame, and this is why you have to look at every time frame. Here, this didn't make a bit of sense. On this time frame, you're like, what in the heck is going on? But when you go back and look at your weekly, it tells the story. We got an engulfing and a correction going on. So now let's mark it up again. If you ever get lost in the market, back out. On the monthly, what is this?
Impulse.
And what is this?
Correction.
Correction.
Right. So our overall bias is that every time it gets to the top of this, what would we look to do?
Sell.
Right.
Sell.
Yeah. So we got a monthly telling us it's at the top of a channel to look for a sell. Now, if we go back and we look at the weekly, we got an engulfing candle, which signifies a possible reversal to the downside. But after an impulse, we have to have a correction. So we could come here. Let's try and figure this thing out, what it's going to do. All right. Anytime you see equal lows or equal highs, you're looking for it to reject in the opposite direction. You got all these equal lows going on right here. So it sold, but it got here and it started rejecting, leaving wicks. This is liquidity in the market. It came here. If you look back at this area here, it didn't make it down here. So there's still liquidity trapped down here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it hit this before going back up again. But you got an impulse and a correction now on the daily. But we know if the market moves, impulse, correction, continuation. Our weekly is a sell, our daily is a buy, but then we could look for a sell continuation because this was your weekly move, was that whole impulse. Now you're getting that corrective move. But now we just have to figure out how far it could push back up before we get that rejection. So I'm asking you guys, what would you look for a key area to where you could see, what would you do? What tools would you use, or what would you look for in the market?
The Fibonacci retracement.
Yep, that's one thing we can use from our swing high to our swing low. Okay. So this could pull all the way back up into our 50 or our 61. Yeah, let's see what that looks like on the lower time frame, see if there's any key zones. Okay, here is that candle that got engulfed. So this would be a key zone I would look for. This is what started that last impulse correction continuation. It's already hit this one and rejected. Okay. So when we're looking to re-enter the market, we look at past price action where candles got engulfed. Those of you who study institutional trading probably know it's called an order block. Okay. Other people created fancy names for it, but the guy who invented these, well, he discovered these key zones. He calls them order blocks. He has a trademark, so we don't use it publicly. All right. This candle here got engulfed. When the market impulsed, it came back retested it, and continued down. Okay. Here, it happened again here. It pulled back into this candle that got engulfed and continued down. This one got engulfed, the market pulled back into it, spiked us out, and continued down. And you can see this happening on every time frame, okay? And it always happens at areas where there's a lot of consolidation, equal highs and equal lows, because that's where liquidity is created in the market. So it made a run above it to hit stop losses and then reversed. So let's see. 60 pips from there. 40 pips from there. So it ran a little bit above this previous high. On the lower time frame, it looks like it was pushing up, but the most important thing you need to notice is on higher time frames is it wicks out. Now, if we talk about that candle that got engulfed, look where your wick came to. Okay, your wick came in here to fake you out and then just drop the market back down. So start paying attention to these zones when you're looking for your entries or your pullback areas. All right, that makes sense to everybody? It's a little complicated. I taught it to my team a while back, and we use it a lot for entries. But you have to start training your eyes to find those zones. And it's called an order block. I forgot what other people are calling it right now, but the official name is an order block. Okay, so let's look at this again. We are in a zone here. Okay, this market is moving sideways in this zone. We got a double top, so we can see it come back down.
Hey.
Okay, somebody's jamming. Our weekly, we showcased our uptrend. It failed to break this high, which is why I'm still looking for an overall sell. Got a weekly engulfing candle, and I think after our correction, we could see it continue to sell down. Now, we have to keep in the back of our mind, we have Brexit. All right. Before any of this happened, does anybody remember what we were looking for? And a lot of us caught, because before that happened, we had this was going on.
The election.
Now remember, we were all looking for this buy, and we all took it as a team. We were buying every time it hit the bottom because we were looking for it to push up to here. You remember that? About a month ago, we were looking for this. And then the election came and it hit it. It didn't go quite as high as we expected, but it went 500 pips. All right, it pushed it right back up to that weekly high area and just reversed on us. Every single GBP did that after the election. They spiked every single one of them back up to the weekly area and then sold off. So my bias is after this finishes correcting, it could continue selling off. And then I would just start looking on my daily for my zones. Right here, where we got these wicks, we could come back down into here for your first take profit. Get it to come back down here. Then you want to see, because here is a strong buy area. You can see it come back up. You want to see what it's going to do. You already got an impulse and a correction on the daily, but it didn't take out this daily high. It's got to come out of there. If this makes a flag and then comes out of here, then it's going to go back up. But right now, it's got to come out of that zone right there. We got strong sell action going in here because of the wick. You got an engulfing. But I wouldn't get in this trade either way until I see what it does right here. All right, so if you're in it for the buy, hold it to see what it's going to do at this area. If you're in it for the sell, you should have moved your stop loss up by now. Is anybody in this trade? And again, bring your attention right here to where that wick pulled back to, into this candle. All right. So nobody's in that trade. All right, what else you guys want to look at?
EU.
It was selling back down earlier. Let's see where it's headed now. Okay, on the daily. On the daily, this had been in that channel, so we were all buying from the bottom. It broke out of that channel, came up to a previous high. And again, if you look in that area where it was wicking, it came right in there, and it gave us a daily engulfing. This closed at 5 p.m. Eastern today, so we got a daily engulfing. So now we wait to see what kind of action we're going to get after that daily engulfing. And right now it's creating a flag. Before we got that daily engulfing, we had an ascending channel. It pushed us into that zone and then immediately dropped. It pushed us right back into this zone. This is the candle that got engulfed that started this downtrend. It pushed us right back into it. So right now it gave us a daily bearish engulfing and it's creating a flag. So if I were selling, I would hold it. If I were buying, I would have closed by now. I would have closed when I saw this. You got a bearish engulfing, which was your impulse correction, and it sold you out of that ascending channel correction, and it's still doing the same thing. So if you're going to sell it, wait and sell it from the top of the channel. It could probably pull back up to here. This is the area I would look to see if it would pull back into about there. All right, anybody else?
Can you look at gold, GiGi?
Look at what?
Gold.
Gold? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Gold. Gold broke out of the flag because on the higher time frame, on the weekly, it was an impulse correction, and we're getting the continuation. It's pulling into a reversal zone. So we had impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation correction, continuation, coming back into a strong reversal zone. It's probably making an ascending channel on a lower time frame. Let's see. Not yet. So it made an ascending channel here, but then it did like gold and broke out. But one thing you'll notice about these ascending and descending channels, they'll push up until they come into major zones. You can go back and back test that. Whenever you see these ascending and descending channels, they usually come back into major zones. So let's see what we got going on right here. This was the candle that was engulfed right here. So I would pay close attention to that. Right there. All right. So if I were not in it, I would not get in it because it's too close to a reversal zone.
Okay.
If you're in the buy, I would hold the buy and then see what happens once it gets up here. Well, I like this new feature on TradingView where you can hold control down and bring in your chart. I keep forgetting about it. But yeah, it's running for this zone. Whenever the market breaks out, it runs for key zones, and you just have to learn to identify those key zones. Just like if you look at oil, we were talking about that earlier. It broke out, but look where it stopped. It wicked past it, but it's not closing. It has not been able to close above that zone. So that's a strong rejection area. Whenever sentimental spikes happen, they're usually short-lived. This is because of the fighting and stuff that's going on in the Middle East. And also, if you look back here, bring that right there. Boom. Look at that. Came to it perfectly. Came right back to that zone. Take this and bring it here. Everything's staying in this zone for right now. This is a strong reversal zone. If it breaks out of this zone, then you just start paying attention to the next zone. But right now, even though it's pushing up strong, sentimental movements are normally short-lived. It's because people are unsure of the market based on politics or war or economics. So, and that's about what gold is doing now. Gold is pushing up into a key zone. And anytime there's instability across the world, like what we're seeing with the war in Iraq and stuff that's going on with Saudi Arabia, it causes stuff like gold and silver and oil to spike up because people are afraid. Like the people who own multi-million and multi-billion-dollar accounts, they know that the dollar or other currencies are going to lose value, so they'll go and they'll transfer their money over to commodities like gold, silver, and oil. That makes sense?
Yes.
So this is a sentimental
That's
spike.
awesome.
Yeah. Whenever you see, let's see, stuff going on like that, you see it's causing the dollar to spike down and gold to spike up. Anytime that you're trading gold, gold should be doing the opposite of DXY. If they're ever doing the same thing, that's called divergence. Whenever like the dollar and gold are doing the same thing, that's creating divergence on those commodities, and you're gonna expect a breakout soon. But the dollar looks like it's coming back down into here. It finally broke out of that ascending channel. Then we'll see what it does when it gets down here.
Yes, ma'am. I can help you.
Man, be quiet. I just
Oh, I
realized
thought you
that.
called my name. Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Divergence. Thank you for introducing me to Divergence, by the way. All right, somebody else have a question?
Gigi, does gold and the US 30 go along?
The US 30 is stocks, and that's based on just the US economy. Right now, the US economy is pushing up. Any sales are going to be short term. It's in uncharted territory. It's never been that high ever. Okay. This right here was the housing economical crash of 2008. Wait, where am I? This one. I'm sorry. I told y'all I got to get used to this new computer. This right here, it was on a constant uptrend. This was the economical crisis with the housing crisis in the US, and it sold off, and then the economy picked back up. Right now, the economy in the US is strong. So all of these indices, since it's based on the top 30 stocks, are going to continue to push up. So it's losing momentum because the economy's been thriving, and you know, people in the market, they know when something pushes up strong, it creates like a bubble, just like Bitcoin did, and could sell off. So buying pressure is still strong. However, there's not as many new investors coming into the market because the worst thing you can do is buy high. Now, us being Forex traders, we can go in and get in on these lower time frames. Look at that. Got an ascending channel. Got an engulfing candle, and it sold off. I guess that's going the opposite of that oil spike. And stuff like this, the best thing to do is go back and back test it and see, like, you can compare oil. Let's compare oil with it real quick. Let's see. Of course, anything with USD in the front is dropping right now because the dollar is dropping. All right, let's see how US 30 and US oil, see if there's any. My computer's running a little slow. I set me up an office in the back room, so I'm too far from the router. Come on, computer. All right, so look at that. There you go. Oil and US 30 are moving the opposite. Let's look at them on a higher time frame. Isn't that crazy? This is how you learn stuff. I just learned something new. I never thought to compare these two before.
GiGi, when you get a chance, can you look at the peso?
I will. I can tell you guys now, USD Tri is going to be a good move. Let's see. The crude oil shot up. Let's see what's going to happen to the US 30. So they've both been going up, really. You can tell I hadn't marked this up in a while. Ooh, that's ugly. Oh, I know what it is. It's because I opened up these old charts. All right, let's go back to our regular schedule program. You said USD pesos. It should be, let's see if I remember, dropping. Yep. I'm watching this zone right here on the pesos. You got these equal lows. And the dollar is dropping. So the DXY is dropping. Anything with USD in the front should be dropping. I'm watching USD Tri. It's extremely volatile. If you've never traded it, be very careful. On the lower time frame, it is making an ascending channel. It pays about like US 30 or something. And I'm watching it to see what it's going to do when it gets to this zone up here. This thing, I put a 0.01 on it the first time I traded it, made 300 bucks. So I'm watching to see what it does when it gets to this zone. So if you like exotics, that's a good one because it's making a perfect reversal formation. Let's see, USD ZAR, I sold it until it got down to here because we're expecting a correction on this one because you got your impulse. Now you got to get your correction. So just be mindful if you buy that it's in an overall downtrend here on this. So it's got to make a correction and it could drop back down. So we could see it then do something like that. So I had went through the market and was trying to find something that had a good setup. All the AuGCADs did what I expected them to do. I missed them because I'm not trading till next week. All the odds are on a daily uptrend, but a weekly downtrend, which means we got our impulse, correction, and we can expect the continuations. Now, the way they're moving, they all look like we could get one more push up. Especially AJ is the one I really want to catch. So I'm going to wait and see what it does when it gets here. Because if we catch this sell, we can get about 600 pips from here down to here. So this is the one that's mainly on my radar because we know the market moves impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction. It's failing to break this weekly, so we could get, and that would give you 600 pips. So this is my favorite setup right now is AJ. I missed that entry from the top because, like I said, I wasn't trading. But if you had wanted to enter this from the top, let's see what we got. We had an ascending channel, impulse, correction. Guess what this came back to? Came back to that candle that got engulfed twice. So it gave us a bearish engulfing, retested that same area, and then sold off. So you would have had like 3 opportunities to get in on this. All right, and it just went down from there. And I've been dropping this chart for over a week, telling everybody to catch it, and then I didn't catch it. Right there, and right there, you could have got in. Again, we see the equal highs with the wicks to the top. You could have got in right there.
You were supposed to catch that, GG.
I was. I told everybody else to catch it, then I didn't catch it. Anybody catch it? And we had an opportunity there, opportunity there, opportunity there. All right, and again, this pulled back into this area right here. This pulled back into this one right here. This pulled back into this right here. Yeah, I'm pissed that I missed it. After saying that was my trade. But I'll start trading again next week. Anybody want to look at anything else?
Don't worry, I missed. Don't worry, I missed it too.
So if this corrects, if we get it down to here, but then watch it down here, because it could give us one more push up, which I'm hoping for, up here to our weekly high. And let's see, if we look at our weekly, we do have room for one more push. Look, you got a weekly engulfing. So if this closes tomorrow at 5 p.m. with a weekly engulfing, we should get a pullback, and then we could look to get in. So we would look for this. So I could still get my opportunity next week for it to pull back into this for my correction. So I'll be looking, it'll probably come down to about here, correct, and then maybe get this, or it could do this and give us one more push up and then get that. So I still got my eyes on this one. 600 pips is a good move. And stack it along the way. All right, anybody else? And it doesn't have to be about a pair. If you got any questions about market structure, supply and demand, trend lines, anything like that.
Gigi, can you please look at GU?
Since it's you, Kathleen. Yes, ma'am. The dollar is dropping, so that's probably why this pushed up. Let's see. Yep, this came down into here. See, it gave us an ascending channel, like it was going to drop back down. But then it pushed up because the dollar is dropping down. So this right now, because the dollar is tanking because of that oil and because of the structure, I wouldn't get in it. If I were in it, I would hold, but if I were not already in it, so let's look at the daily. So let's start from scratch. We'll mark it up together. Anytime something's somewhere weird and has broken out of the structure I had already marked up, I just start over. So we got our low and we got our high, okay? On our weekly, we have a definite what? Uptrend or downtrend?
Downtrend.
Up.
Yep, let's focus on that up. Now I'll tell you what, to be fair, let's look at it both ways. If we look at our down, has our down been violated?
Yes.
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 So now we're going to focus on our up. Now, you can be on an uptrend on the daily, uptrend on the weekly, but a downtrend on the daily, yes? Yes?
Yes.
Anybody agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the market moves how? Impulse, daily correction. Impulse, daily correction. Impulse, daily correction. So, because this daily did that, if you wanted to, you could tighten this up and put you another trend line there. Some people prefer the trend lines, you could do that. Or the people who prefer zones, you could go in and mark off your zones and box it in that way. So it's preference at this point. All right. So we'll do it both ways just to see what everybody's preference is. All right. So daily downtrend. Let's see what, 4 hour. $4 hour was going up. So now we got it boxed in between your daily downtrend and your 4-hour uptrend. What's going to determine what this is going to do is how it reacts to this corner. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So your daily was coming down, but it had to correct up on the 4-hour. So now we're going to see if it's going to respect the higher time frame here and go down, or the lower time frame here and go up. So for those of you who don't know how to find your place in the market, that's what you do. You corner the market and wait to see how it reacts to these key zones. Okay, so I'm going to take all that off again. And if you are a brand new trader and you want to know how to find your place in the market, you should always know where you are on the monthly, weekly, and daily, if nothing else. On the monthly, we just want to take our bottom and our top. Okay.
Tomorrow. Oh,
Hold on.
straight to the side somewhere.
Okay. So we got our top and our bottom. So when we go to our weekly, we're going to focus on, is it in an overall uptrend or a downtrend? On this one, we determined our weekly is in an uptrend. What must happen on every time frame?
Correction.
Flags.
Yep, both are right, but you have to have an impulse, correction, and continuation on every time frame, right? If you get an impulse and you don't get a correction, you get a reversal. This right here is giving us our next flag. So you got an impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction. Now we have to see how it's going to react after this correction is complete, because it could give us another continuation. It didn't break out of this and hold, which is an indication we could get a sell back down. So weekly, impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation correction. Daily, impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation correction, continuation. So now we got to see which is going to hold, this weekly sell zone or this daily buy zone. That makes sense? It's trapped in a corner right now. This market has traded into a zone that could send it either direction. Now here, when it was going up, it was easy to know we're buy, 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 buy. It was so easy to see. But when you get into these key zones, the last time it was above, it broke above this, let's see, was December 2017. So it's been over 2 years since it was able to break above this and hold. It fell below this in May of 2018. So that is a very strong area. Every time it came there, it has sold. Even this time it sold. So whenever I see pairs get in zones like this, I tread lightly, because after so many touches, it could eventually break through. And it ran hard, but it stopped and sold off. It's going back up again, but is it going up aggressively or is it going up correctively?
Correctively.
So right now it's moving down this way aggressively on the lower time frame. All right, on a higher time frame, this is choppy. It doesn't really have any good structure to it. So again, if you were not already in a trade, I wouldn't be looking to enter a trade because the way it's moving. Does that make sense? If you're unclear about something, find a good setup. I got about 40 things over here that I trade. So I'm not going to chase something that I'm unclear of. Now, if this comes and gives me a really good flag like it did here and keeps selling down, then I would look to sell it down. Right now, It's giving you that. If it keeps moving up correctively, then you're going to get this. See, this moved up aggressively, but then it fell down aggressively. So now your corrective pattern, if your corrective pattern is going up, which way do we expect the market to break?
To the downside.
Right. So it is giving us an impulse and a correction on the 1 hour, but just keep in the back of your mind that on a higher time frame where you are. Right here, it could push you back up. So if you take the sell, just remember when it gets back down to this area right here, it could do that or it could do that. All right, so now you ask yourself, is the risk to reward worth it? 300 pips, is it worth trying to get a trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 300 pips is a good trade. The only thing that concerns me about this is because of the dollar being weak. The GBP would have to be weaker than the dollar right now for it to sell down. So what you can do is go look at your dollar. And the dollar is acting choppy right now too. Look at that. So your dollar tried to push up, fell down, tried to push up. So if the dollar keeps going up, GU could go down. But let's see what GBP is doing. So choppy. See, GBP is doing exactly what GU is doing. This is the GBP as it is weighted against every other currency that is traded, or the majors. This is the GBP against like the dollar, the euro, the yen. Let's mark it up. If you can't see it clearly, you can always use the Heikenashis on this. So let's see what GBP is doing when compared to other currencies. On the monthly, it's a good strong push up, but no matter what we see, we need to look left. Last time it pushed there, it dropped. Pushed there again, so we could see a GBP drop. And this is how you hear people talking about, I'm expecting all GBP pairs to be strong or to be weak. They're looking at the GBP as it's weighted against everything else. On the weekly, we have a definite buy. So if your GBP is strong and your dollar is weak, what do you think that could indicate for GU?
A buy.
Yes, that's why I said a sell, I would just be careful with it. Because the GBP looks like it could push up one more time and the dollar is still dropping. So I would just be careful with the sell. And I would, be monitoring it for the next buy based on the fact that the dollar is weak and the GBP is strong right now. And that's when you start getting fundamentals and mixing it in with market structure. You don't just look at the market structure, but you factor in which currency is weak and which is strong. So just be careful if you're selling it and trail your stop loss. That makes sense?
Thank you. Thank you, Gigi.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. Excellent.
It could sell off.
Gigi, we missed
Yep.
in you also.
You did.
Been waiting on this drop
I'm not
all
sure
since
that.
last week.
Look at that nice ascending channel.
Hey, Gigi, got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the strength of the dollar compared to the strength of the GBP. Okay, so far as when the strength of the dollar, when it hits like about what, 98.5, or when it's $1 or higher compared to the compared to GBP, what exactly numbers do you look for? I mean, like a 10%, a 10-cent difference, 20-cent difference when it comes to strength and weakness of the dollar compared to the GBP.
I just look at how they're moving individually. Like the GBP WCU is the GBP world currency.
Okay.
Weighted against, if it's moving down and the dollar is moving up, I'm looking for a sell. If it's moving up and the dollar is moving down, I'm looking for a buy. If they're both consolidating, I stay out.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, I compared the structure of one against the other. And GBP USD should be moving more like GU. Should be moving more like the GBP WCU because it's the predominant currency in that pair. And if you look at, this is the Great British pound weighted against every currency. And if you look at all the GBP pairs, they're doing something similar to what it's doing. But then you have to take each currency in account. They'll move similar, but not at the same time, because you have to remember they're being traded against another currency, and each currency has its own strength meter, its own strength. Do I not have this marked up? Or is my computer just running slow? So that's why whenever I mark up the entire market on Saturday, I only focus on those 2 or 3 pairs based on how that market is moving. I'm getting a little bad connection here. I'll tell you. Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up.
Yeah, my internet's going in and out. Give it 1 second. Hopefully it'll come back. There we go. I got a new router, a new modem this week. But I was saying, if you look at all the GBP pairs are moving similar to GBP WCU. They'll move very similar, but at different times because they're weighted against different currencies. Am I back on? Oh, this thing is so annoying.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah, it's getting. I got to call them and report this tomorrow. It's been horrible the last few hours. Does anybody else have any questions, or does anybody want to mark up a chart?
Hey, G, can we look at EN for a second?
EN?
Yeah. On down, but on it.
All right, I never look at anything without looking at the daily first. So on the daily, it's been going on a downtrend. I'm thinking it could pull down to this zone or this zone. You want to bring attention to that zone, just put you a bottom right here and then go to a lower time frame. Yeah, I'm going to Best Buy or something tomorrow, see if I can get something to make my internet stronger back here in my new office. Usually when I was Zoom with you guys, I'm sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop, but I'm in a back room now with the desktop, and it needs more juice. So you got your impulse and your correction. You're going to pay attention to what it does after this correction. All right. So you had your impulse, correction, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, you're getting a correction. So if it still moves correctively, going up, see right now it's moving correctively. You can see it drop to here. Watch it when it gets here and see if you get another move here. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're able to hear me because of my internet. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
You're breaking up, but I think I got you.
Okay. So I was saying if this moves up correctively, do you know how to determine if it's corrective or aggressive? Do you know how to determine if
You
it's
might want to
corrective or-
ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna go jump on my laptop. Give me like 30 seconds. I'm gonna jump on my laptop. I'll be right back.
What's going on?
Gigi's just working on her internet.
Okay.
All right, I was in the back bedroom working on my I got to run back there and stop sharing unless I claim host. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, Gigi, you may want to look at NU again. We got a nice divergence 4 and the H1.
I forgot to stop sharing my other screen. Give me 1 second. I'm running.
All right, now I can share this screen. Jesus, I'll tell you, I used to have good internet. I don't know if it's the new modem I got or what. But maybe it's because I got a stronger computer. I just got a new computer for myself for Christmas. That's probably it. And it's back in the back bedroom. So we were on Euro NZD. And I see it didn't save anything I did. So what I was saying, Justin, is I always look at least my daily. And my daily is telling me I'm still in a downtrend, right? And we know the market moves impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction over and over again. So right now it is making a correction. And I ask you, do you know how to tell your impulsive move versus your corrective move?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
What does a corrective move do that an aggressive move does not do?
Corrective is correction, impulse, and continuation. And aggressive just
One versus the other. What is happening right there? What is that corrective move doing that the impulsive move did not do? Somebody throw me a lifeline.
It's respecting that that line underneath it, and it's a gradual up instead of it shooting like straight up. It's
Okay,
gradual.
you're getting there.
It's steady.
What does a corrective move make?
It's more
Go figure.
sideways action.
A corrective move will make somebody said it, a pattern. An aggressive move will never give you a pattern. You see that? You have aggressive moves and you have corrective moves. That's how you can tell aggressive versus corrective. So if something is moving correctively, like right here, this was moving correctively. What eventually happened? It broke out. When something's moving correctively, it eventually breaks out. Like this was moving correctively here. Give us a pattern. If it doesn't see, if you don't see a pattern on this time frame, go to another time frame. Because there's going to be an impulse correction every single time frame. So like right, but we can see right here on the daily, it's an impulse. Okay, and that's where a lot of people got in trouble a few weeks ago with those GBP pairs because they were looking on the lower time frames. Okay, like GBP, JPY. Okay, if I look at the daily, people were thinking sell, which it was selling at the moment, and it sold pretty hard, but people kept selling. But when you look at the daily, that was just a flag. It looked like a nice sell on the lower time frame, but on the daily, it was just a flag. So you have to know on every single time where you are, and you have to look at your impulsive move versus your aggressive move. So you got aggressive, corrective, aggressive, corrective. Aggressive came right here to your weekly reversal and then gave you that impulse, giving you a correction, then getting a continuation. But because this is still an up move, we have to watch it when it gets here, because what could happen here? We could break out again. Right. So it's either going to get here
Shoot up
and
to the
shoot up,
stars.
right? Or if it gets here and gives us corrective move, what can we expect? So we're following this down the trend line right now, but what's going to matter is how it's going to react when it gets down here. See, it got here at this level. And then on the 1 hour, you got it. This is why I said you have to look at every single time frame. On the hour, what did you get? Impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. And it broke back down, impulse, correction, continuation, correction. So now you got to watch it again at this zone, because here, this pushed it up. This pushed it up. This is either going to break through or push it back out. So that's why I said you have to be careful with every single one of these GBP pairs, because at the levels they're at, could go either way, because your higher time frame is still a buy. Your lower time frame is selling, but we know that the daily is stronger than the 4 hour. So you could get a little correction, continuation, and get here and shoot back up.
Is GBP odd moving just like JPY?
Yep. Now this one, it's got a little bit farther to go on its daily correction. The reason I've been trading this one differently is because look at this. You got an impulse. And how is this moving on this time frame?
Correctively.
So it hit the top, we could see it hit the bottom again and then go up. Or we could finally get that break and down. See, if I had looked at this on the daily, like I'm looking at the other ones on the daily, then it's going to look like a nice uptrend still going on here, and that it could bounce and go back up. But if I back out and look at it on a weekly, I got a nice sell right here looking left, but this could push up. Hold on, let me do this right. This could do this, get here, then push up to this and then sell off. The alt is gonna have to get strong to keep selling it off. And alt is not strong right now. If you look at the alt, it's been declining because they have a very low interest rate right now. This is alt by itself. And it's just not strong.
I'm actually in a buy, but I've been in a buy for a couple of days.
On GA?
Yes, ma'am.
You got in here?
I got in at, I think so.
Yeah, so you got in around, you're in profit, right?
I'm actually not. I'll tell you where I got in. I got in. And,
It's gonna push up some, but it could get up to like here and reverse. All right, where did you get in? Let's figure out where you
1.8884.
1.88841.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's coming back up there. If because of this channel, I would be careful. And alt is not strong right now. And look at that. You got an ascending channel. Woo. Let's see. You got an ascending channel that happened here. Pulled right back to this wick. Hopefully it'll hit this and push up one more time for you, because you're not too far from it. See, it hit that one. It could come back up to this right here. So for your sake, hopefully it'll make an ascending channel up to here before it sells back off. But the way it's moving right now, it's trying to sell off again.
I've got a very low lot size on it.
Look how aggressive that is. Let's see. I can take everything off. Let's mark it up from scratch. Okay. Impulse, what is that giving us?
That is a correction.
And see, I usually draw the highs and the lows, but this pair right here, I was focused on that channel because channels trade differently. I was focused on this channel. And see, it's at the top of this channel. Back down to here before going up again. But just from your structure, this is an aggressive move. And this is a corrective move. Right here. All of this is corrective. Luckily, it's corrective on a higher time frame, which means that you could get a stronger move on a lower time frame. Like right here, it was going up. And let's see, it could give you one more push up, hopefully, and get you out of that. But whenever I see a channel, I only trade it from the top and from the bottom. It's dangerous to get in the middle of a channel, because in the middle of a channel, you don't know which way it could break out. And right now, it's smack dab in the middle of a channel.
I'm still struggling to identify a channel when it's forming. I can clearly see it like after it's over, because I think of it like a squared harsh. That's the only way I can think about it.
That's why you have to look at every single time frame. Like here was one, it was a descending channel going down. And finally, because it's breaking, see, this is going down. So we get our break to the up. This is going up. So we're going to eventually get our break to the downside. It's nothing I'm expecting like in the next 5 minutes or even 5 days, because it's on a weekly time frame. That makes sense. The higher the time frame, the longer it's going to take the pattern to complete. But look at this right here. Does this not look just like what it's doing now? And it finally broke out, did correction, and came down. And it's doing the same thing now. So hopefully it'll pull back enough for you to get out. If not, I wouldn't ride it and let it deplete my account when you could close it and make some cleaner trades. Yeah, always look at your higher time frame to see exactly what it's doing, because on the higher time frame, it's in a corrective channel and it's in the middle of a sell. Now this right here on the 4-hour, you do have an impulse, a correction that's trying to push back up. But just remember in the back of your mind that your impulse right here is to the downside. That's your impulse. This pattern it's creating right here is moving correctively. So it could pull up a little bit before it continues down. Of course, the market's going to do what it wants to do, but right now it's making a sell continuation pattern. Right. And again, if you focus on that candle that got engulfed, it pulled right back into it and sold off. So hopefully we'll get it to pull into this one at the 50 or this one at the 61.8, give you an opportunity to get out. But if not, I would take my loss. Okay. And again, right here, you got an ascending channel happening. So what I would do for you're looking for exit strategy at this point.
Okay.
Okay, so for your exit strategy, unless you get an aggressive break to the upside, because again, the market's going to do what it wants to do. On the 1 hour, you got this going on. It's already came to this one right here. It could come up there and retest it. All right. We'll perform a little surgery on it real quick. I'm going to dissect it. And see if it's going to make a corrective pattern back up to here before it sells back off. And that's also, I don't trade a lot of like head and shoulders, but I can see it's making one. You got a little shoulder here, a head, and a shoulder. But anybody need to look at anything else? I would watch that, and if it got close enough to my entry and it was still moving correctively, I would get out.
Okay.
Let's look at EJ.
Before that, USD. I entered in the for a sale yesterday morning.
Hold on one second. Somebody sent me a message an hour ago, and I'm just now seeing it. He had just joined the Discord group earlier tonight. I hate he missed the call. All right, I heard Chris first. What'd you say, Chris? UJ?
Yeah, EJ.
Oh, EJ. It's doing about the same thing as AJ. Yeah.
UJ doing the same too.
Yeah, most of the JPY pairs are doing this. You see on the daily, it's making the weekly's a sell, the daily's a buy. So I'm looking for it to complete this pattern. You see the channel it's in right here on the daily going up, Chris?
Yeah, I see it.
So come in, fill that in. So if you're in a sale, just watch it down here because it could go up here and then.
Okay.
All right. All right, what was your pair you wanted?
Okay, EU. I entered for a sale yesterday morning.
Rashard is saying that harmonic scanner called a sell for GA. You said EU, we already covered that one, but we'll look at it real quick. It hit this area here and was selling off. We're going to wait and see what happens on its way down. It made an impulse. We're waiting to see if we get a correction and a continuation on a lower time frame. Right now, it gave us an ascending channel, impulse, waiting for correction and a continuation. Because on the daily, it had been in a descending channel. It broke out, but all it did was come back to a daily high and reject. Right there. Right in those wicks.
Yeah, I entered for a sale yesterday morning. So
You got an engulfing candle. And this daily is starting to form the correction. It closed with an engulf. So we need the correction. All right.
yes, ma'am. Thank
Anybody
you very
else?
much.
All right. Anybody else?
UJ.
The dollar is dropping, so it should be dropping as well. Yep.
I'm in that cell.
That was a good sell. I have been looking for that one too. If I look on like my ideas on TradingView, I got that one called too. All these JPYs are making, if you look at the daily, they're doing basically the same thing. All right. Anybody else? Down here. All right, anybody got any questions about anything? Any of the newer people, trend lines, supply, demand, impulse correction, continuation, aggressive or corrective moves, ascending and descending channels?
I'm sure some things are just gonna come with time. I'm just still struggling with identifying a channel when it's forming. Could you
A
show me
channel?
another example? Yeah, because like I said, I know what it looks like after it's there, but I don't know that that's what it is in the middle of it, as opposed to a flag. But
Hey,
I do know that they're both corrective
Desmond,
moves.
mute for me. Because I'm not on the other computer. I can't mute you. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
You're good. See, channels start forming, and the only way you're going to identify them is to box them in. Okay. Like Eric usually teaches on Thursday night. He looks at the market. Eric's really good with channels. He puts everything in a channel. Like if Eric were trading this right here, it's funny because I hear myself coming through the speakers in the background. I'm like, who's that talking in my bedroom? Like Eric puts everything in a channel. Like he would have put this in a channel. But you can do channels like on any time frame, and anything that's moving correctively is going to be in some type of channel. You got a descending channel here before it went up. Now, if you have problems knowing where your highs and lows are, you can switch over to your line chart. Okay. Now you got a cleaner view. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Versus looking at your candles. You get a cleaner view looking at your line chart.
So we're also
What's the
called.
chances?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm sorry. I was just wanting to ask, what is the chances we can catch an impulse, you know, from that bearish impulse? Like, what's the chances we could catch correction?
You mean buying it up?
Yes.
The only time I trade against the trend is if I know it's going to give me back a lot. Okay. So like from here down to here, it pulled back to the 78. So we bank on about 50%. So if I know that it's going to give me 50%, which is 300 pips, then I'm going to buy it up. Okay. 300 pips is a good trading day. So you got your impulse, correction, continuation going up, but then you finally get your breakout. So here we know we're due another correction. So we can buy up again. But on the daily, you know that your overall is going, well, the weekly is on a downtrend. The daily is where you're getting your buys. All right, so let's look at this. Now, if I'm on an hour, that's a sell, and I know my 15-minute correction is going to be a buy, I'm not going to chase that. But if I'm on a weekly sell, then I know that my correction on the daily has to be a buy, then I will chase the daily buy. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
It has to give you enough reward to put in the risk. So like the GBP pairs, they're extremely volatile. So my daily is in an uptrend. I feel confident selling the 4-hour correction because on a 4-hour correction, you can get 200 or 300 pips on a GBP pair. But I wouldn't do it on AU. I would do it on GU, but I would never do it on AU because AU doesn't move. You just have to measure out your risk to your reward and ask yourself, is it worth going after it? We don't chase small moves. Even as a scalper, if you see that this only has another 30 pips to the upside, you'd be crazy to chase it because you're in a reversal. Like if you're coming up to a reversal zone, let me let this guy get on this Zoom real quick. I hate that because I just added him to the Discord today. Man, when I'm on this, I keep my phone on silent. He's completely new. I would love for him to be on here tonight. That's why I said if y'all had any guests that could get on tonight, which tomorrow night we got ForexNChill. So if y'all have any guests y'all want to get on to, all right. So back to this. I got about 50 messages, sorry. Yeah, if you know where you are in the market, you will know whether or not it's worth chasing the correction. Okay. So if I have an impulse on a higher time frame that goes down about 400 pips, I know that 50% is going to give me about 200 pips and then get my continuation. Then it's worth looking for a short-term buy, get about 100 pips, or move up your stop loss. And then you start looking, am I moving correctively or aggressively? Because then if it starts moving aggressively, you can hold it and ride it back up. But if it starts moving correctively and your higher time frame is in a sell, get out or move up your stop loss. So when the continuation comes, you won't be caught in the wrong direction. And that's where people screw up a lot. They're looking on the lower time frames and they're not looking at the higher time frames. So they're getting caught up. They're not looking left. Like those people who were buying those GBPs when they reversed and dropped, if they had just looked left at the weekly, they would have known to go ahead and take their profits and get out. That makes sense. If you always know where and that's one thing I learned from Terrell. Shout out to Terrell he's the one who ingrained in the back of my head, always know where you are. Like on this, I know on my higher time frame that I'm at the top of a channel, so I would never have bought up here. And I'm not picking on the person that's in the buy because this is stuff you learned. I didn't know this when I first started. I got my head busted plenty of times because people were teaching me to scalp on a 5-minute or a 15-minute. I didn't know, like, who looks at a daily? Like, seriously. When I first started trading, all people told me was look at a 5-minute or 15-minute. But now, the more you study, the more you know. And like if we look here, I can see that green candle where it got engulfed. And guess what? Guess where it pulled me to? Right there. And on that candle, that's my reversal area, that little green right in there that you can't hardly see because I'm on this little laptop now. Right in here. See that candle? That candle right there that you could barely see. Now let's tighten up on it. Right here. Now let's go back to where it reversed and see how close it came to it. Look at that. Right there. Isn't that crazy? How accurate those zones can be? You just have
Can
to
you
learn
show
how
that
to
candle one
identify
more
the
time?
zones. He's just jumping from computer to computer, got me. Right there. This is the candle that got engulfed on the weekly that continued the downtrend. So this was the area that I was looking to identify as my reversal zone.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And it pulled right into it. Let's look at it on the daily. Look at that. Wicked right out of it, but didn't break out of it. Pushed a little higher on the 4 hour, but could not close and stay. Came right back under. On the 1 hour, it gave us an ascending channel, tried to break down, gave us another ascending channel, and gave us a bearish engulfing. See, that's it. You dissect it down. You see it happening on the higher time frame, and then you go down and read it all the way down to the lower time frame, top-down analysis. I'm at the top of a channel. I'm at a reversal zone. I got an ascending channel. Now I got a double top. I'm selling. Probably had divergence if you would turn on your indicators. Let's see. Look, had divergence. Okay. What happens whenever you're using the MACD and divergence? Your perfect entry is going to be on the cross of the MACD because it usually doesn't come back above. And I'm sure on a 15-minute, would probably got us in back here. Let's see, what's the date here? December 16th.
Don't give up all the secrets, GG. They got to pay their dues now. They got to pay their dues like we did. Don't give up all the secrets yet. Give it to them, but not so fast.
So when GiGi is looking like for the MACD to cross, is she more likely looking at the 1 hour?
Aggressively.
The 1 hour.
Lindor likes the 1 hour, and some people like the. I think Eric likes the 30-minute. I hardly ever use it. It's been a while since I used. God, I haven't used indicators in so long. It's crazy. I'm just so used to training my eyes now.
Wow, that's
It's
great.
like, when I see an indicator, it's like I'm like I can't see my chart. Like I can turn on a moving average. I'm like, oh my God, turn it off. Because when you learn to identify those zones, and then the ascending channels, and then the wicks and the even highs, equal highs and equal lows, and it's like, all right, did that make sense? Now you see why you don't need indicators. These people selling you strategies based on indicators are wasting your money and your time. Your eyes are the greatest tools you are ever going to have in the market. If you train
So
your
discovering
eyes,
those zones.
yeah, if you train your eyes, and training your eyes comes from drawing up these patterns and looking at these charts and looking to see what it did in the past. That replay button is your best friend. That go-to button to take you back to like if I identify something I want to learn, I hit this go-to button. I go back and I study what made this market sell 3,000 pips. What did it do before it reversed? What did it do before it continued? It's like learning to read another language. And once you learn to read it, you can't unread it. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you learn, you never unlearn. If you learn to trade with your bare eyes, there's nothing an indicator can do for you except maybe if you're unsure, give you some confirmation or confluence or something, but you really don't need indicators. I love the MACD for divergence, but that's about it. Other than that, and then sometimes I'll use the fib for retracements, but when I learn those key zones and those key candles, I can't tell you. And everybody knows I used to love me some Fibonacci. I can't tell you the last time I really used it, unless somebody was asking me a question or I was teaching it. Yeah, man. This is why I hate teaching, because I go on and on all night. Other people will cut that short and get off, and I'll be sitting here all night long.
All night long.
All night.
Yay.
We ain't playing no Snoop Dogg lately. Y'all know I'll
Give
put
it to
Snoop
him
Dogg.
slow, GG. Give it to him slow.
They ain't
Freshman
ready for
class.
the chill part, are they?
No, this is a freshman class. Let him graduate to sophomore. Don't hurt him yet. You might run him away.
Yeah. So.
Hey, but on a serious note, though, if there's a class that's being offered, guys, by GiGi and Terrell, please take advantage of it. It don't matter how long you've been doing this or how short of time that you've been doing this. Take advantage of the trainings and the classes.
Right here. Let's see what happens here. This got engulfed. This got engulfed. Which is right in there.
What time frame do you GiGi, what time frame do you look for divergence? What time frames?
It can happen on monthly, weekly, daily. It can happen from the monthly down to the 1 minute. The higher the time frame, the stronger the divergence. The stronger the reversal is going to be. You look for anything on any time frame. Anything you look for on the monthly, you can look for on the weekly, on the 5 minute. Everything that happens, it's like a domino effect. It has to start from the bottom and work its way at the top. The only thing is, the higher the time frame, the stronger it is. An impulse correction continuation happens on a 1 minute, but that will never overrule an impulse correction continuation on a 5 minute. That makes sense? Like, let me show you something. If my daily is going impulse, correction, continuation, if I can do this without my mouse, guess what my 4 hour is doing down here? Impulse, correction, continuation, correction. Okay. So you got patterns inside of patterns over and over and over again. And then if that's doing that, then guess what? Your 1 hour is doing inside of that. Got all these little tiny. I'm out of coloring tools, but now you got these little impulse correction continuations happening here on a lower time frame. Like, and it's just over and over again. Like you ever opened a box and inside the box was a box, and inside that box was a box. You got patterns inside patterns inside patterns.
Right.
So just like we saw on that weekly was a big downtrend, but what was the daily doing? The daily was a downtrend, but then the daily was a big buy. The daily was a downtrend, but then the daily was a big buy. And guess what you can do? You can buy and you can sell. When it's here, you can sell. When it's here, you can buy, and on, because these are big moves. These are 300, 400, 500 pip moves. This right here is like a 2,000 pip move. But just imagine selling it, buying it, selling it, buying it, selling it, buying it. Now, as a new trader, you should focus on the sales. When you become more experienced and you know how to counter trend trade, then you can catch it both ways. And you could actually get in a sell here and ride it all the way down and have multiple buys, buy it, close it out, sell. Buy it, close it out, enter another sell. So you got a sell here, a sell here, and a sell here. This is a buy, you already took profit. This is a buy, you already took profit. Now you sold. Buy, take profit on your buy, enter another sell. Buy, take profit on your buy, enter another sell. So now you've turned the 2,000 pips into about 5,000 pips. That's why we trade the highly time frame, like the higher time frame. That makes sense. You just got to learn to find
Absolutely.
the movement on every single time frame. If I go down to my 1 minute, what do you think I'm going to see?
You're going to see channels. I mean, I'm sorry. You're going to see corrective action.
Okay. If you
Did I
didn't
say that
see,
right, GiGi?
if you didn't see that I was on a 1 minute, you wouldn't know. But I got an impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction. And all the way up. And then you got your little reversal zone, your equal highs. You got your little impulse and correction now that's starting you on the way back down. And right now, GA, it had what? An ascending channel on a 1 minute. Wow, look what it did. It came back to a reversal zone on a 1 minute. Isn't that crazy? If you didn't know this was the 1 minute, you wouldn't know what time frame you're looking at because it's doing the exact same thing that the market does on higher time frames. You just have to learn to read every single time frame like the back of your hand. It gets so easy. When I tell you it gets easy, it gets easy. That's all I can tell you. I read these charts so much that, go ahead, Jamie.
Hey, show them that nice divergence on the 4 hour on UJ. That dropped for 160 pips for 6 days straight.
On 4 hour. I wish I had something for just a MACD. I need to.
Yeah, that 4 hour was nice.
Let me get rid of some of this stuff. I'm so, man, I miss my big computer. Now, what am I looking for? Where do you want me to start looking at the top or the bottom? At the top up here, this divergence where it crossed over. Or which one are you looking at? I got
5 November. 5 November.
Okay. Got divergence right there before that sale happened. Look at that.
Yep.
Oh, I'm on the 15 minute. No wonder. You said the 4 hour.
Oh, I'm telling GiGi.
What you telling?
I'm telling. That big blue wave, I'm telling.
Oh, this?
I'm gonna tell. I'm telling.
I paid for that. Don't even use it. I paid for that. Don't even use it. You're talking about this divergence right here.
Uh-huh.
Right there. It's still crossed
5
over
November.
by the same spot.
5 November.
This is where it started. Yep.
Yeah.
Here. Oh, he's going way back here.
Yeah, that nice drop right there. You see how it was going up?
Yeah. There's a divergence right there.
Yep.
There's divergence right there.
Yep.
There's divergence right there. I mean, we can go on and on.
I'm telling you, you
There's
catch a
divergence
divergence
everywhere.
on the 4 hour. That's a beautiful. You catch a divergence on the 4 hour. That is the best scalp, 100 pip scalp in the world.
Yeah.
But you know,
You
all
get the
divergence is ascending and descending channels. Did you know that?
Yep. Yep. Sure did.
Yeah.
Anytime
Yeah.
you see an ascending or descending channel, I'll bet you right here, I can show some divergence. Yeah.
Yeah, everything goes back to market structure.
Everything goes back to market structure. Look at this, how this hit this line every single time. It respects it. Put some respect on my zone. Let's see where
And
the
then
zone's
that,
coming from.
and like he said, what's your name, sir?
Jamie.
Just call him Cut the Rope. Cut. His name is Cut.
Cut.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What state you in?
State of chaos.
I'm in Saudi Arabia right now.
Oh, okay. Much respect, brother. Yeah. So, I'm Eric. I'm from Cali. I'm from California, man. So like you said, like divergence, all divergence is just ascending and descending channels.
Yeah, basically die meaning different. So it's doing the opposite of what momentum is doing. So price is doing one thing, but momentum is doing another, which
So if
95% of the time. I'm sorry, go ahead, Gigi.
Oh, you finished. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. We got that lag because you're there and I'm here.
Yeah. So basically like Gigi's drawing. So price is going up, but momentum is going down.
Yep.
So what
Yes,
are
sir.
you gonna trust price or you gonna trust momentum?
I would trust momentum.
Exactly. If you master that right there in market structure and a few flag patterns, and don't make it difficult, you go catch moves just like what GG drew every single time.
Every single time.
When Gigi talks about catching 100 pip scalps, she literally meant that. And a lot of people don't believe it, but it's the truth.
That's why I quit showing profits. I just showed them my pip count. People be
Yeah.
showing 300, 400, 500 pip trades. They have about 10 entries.
Yeah.
I have one. Okay.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
That's why I'm like, I don't show profits. I show pips. You don't need to know my life.
Yeah, and in my mind, like it's like I know I know I'm special, just like anybody else. And I feel like what you're saying, you know, the eye, like actually just drawing it out with the eye. Like the eye is the greatest gift for this thing, you know, versus
when somebody
indicators.
is playing baseball, they have to train their eye to see that ball. When somebody is becoming a sniper shooter, they have to train their eye to catch that shot. When a surgeon is doing surgery, he has to train his eye. I mean, everything in life that you get good at, you have to train your mind and your eyes. With Forex, you have to train your mind and your eyes. If I sit here and give a child a bicycle with training wheels and never take the training wheels off, do you think they'll ever learn to ride that bike?
No.
Indicators
No.
to training wheels. If I turn on these indicators and mark up a chart, subliminally, my mind is picking up the bias of those indicators, and indicators are man-made. They're lagging and they're leading. They're either going to get you in too late or they're going to get you in too early. There is no indicator that can tell you exactly what the market is going to do and when it's going to do it. That's why it's called an indicator. It's indicating what could happen or indicating what has already happened, but it's not going to tell you exactly when it's doing it. Now, we've worked out a science with that MACD to get a good entry. The MACD is really the only indicator. And then the Fibonacci, that other than that, you really trend line would do everything you ever need to do in the market. People be sitting here paying for, don't trust me. I've been that fool. Oh, wait, did I say fool? Yeah, I've been that fool. I bought this, I bought that. Oh, they got an indicator. We gonna be rich next week. Oh, shit.
Lord.
We done found the indicator that's gonna make us all rich. If that was the case, everybody would be rich.
You know what? You out of control.
It's the truth. Hey, she being
I
nice.
was
Wait till
getting ready.
Friday night.
I was
Y'all
getting
really
ready to
about
be
see-
petty. I was getting ready to be petty and shut myself up. I was getting ready to talk about we could be walking on in the clouds. Let me stop.
Please
Oh,
stop recording. You know what?
hey, GiGi, you better tell them Friday night. That's their ass. Friday night is over.
Professional on Friday nights, so let me be silly tonight.
After 12 o'clock, you changed the rules?
But let me tell you, yeah, I know, right?
Well,
Anytime
stop
you
recording,
see
'cause I'm
an ascending or descending channel, they usually come into a previous zone. And that's where, before I learned about these zones, I would get in early because I'll be like, oh, it's an ascending channel. I'm gonna go ahead and sell now. How long has that oil been an ascending channel? Bust your head, that's what it'll do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why going back to, you said training your eye. Training your eye. That is the key.
Eagle eye. Tell him, Jamie.
Say it with your chest, Jamie. Say it with your chest.
They ain't ready for the eagle eye.
Look at that.
They ain't ready.
It's a coincidence? Do you
Hey,
think it's a coincidence when
Hey,
this oil
GiGi, tell them how we caught. Tell them how Divergent on the 5 minute and slammed the market. Ended up catching that whole trend.
Yeah, like the 2 pip stop loss.
Yep, with a 2
On
pip
gold.
stop loss.
Look, do you think it's a coincidence that this stopped right here? Like, seriously, do you think that's a coincidence that it stopped smack dab? It's not magic, it's market structure. Let me show you something. Let me get my, in fact, I'm not even gonna look left. I'm just gonna put this here just to see, out of curiosity, what happened here looking left. Wow, look at that zone. Look right there. How close it got to that. Oops, I'm on the wrong one. I told you, look at that right there. Every time it came into that zone, it went right to it. It always revisits the same zone. Look at that. Right there in that same area. Look how many times that zone has been kissed. You can always draw these zones. Here is the candle that got engulfed. Right there. Move out of my way. There is the body of that candle that got engulfed. Look right there. Look at that. Just beautiful. And this is on a daily chart. So I know that's some pips right there. Look, wow. You could have traded the daily with 13 pip stop loss. Jesus. Ay, Dios mío. Man, I'm telling you.
Hey, GiGi, are we going to start looking at doing that on certain pairs? Start looking at the daily and working the 4 hour in the daily? And that's it?
You know how me and Linda already had that discussion. If it's lower than the daily, I ain't trading nothing lower than the daily.
Okay.
I mean, I'm of course still entering on the 5 minute and 1 minute, but as far as trading,
Right.
I'm trailing from a daily. I won't go any lower than the daily for my bias.
So are you looking at, not to let the cat out the bag, but are you looking at us going a little bit more in depth with that this year?
Yeah, I'm straight swing trading.
Okay.
If it's less than 200-300 pips, 400, 500 pips, I ain't trying to touch it. Because we knew this was happening and we left like 2,000 pips on the table.
Yeah. Don't remind me. Don't remind me. But we're going to get that back though, on that drop. You can best believe that. I'm going to get my money.
Is that on this pair you're talking about, the 2,000
On all the GBP, on
All
every
the
single
pairs.
GBP.
Man, we lost big time on that, man. I can't
We
believe
didn't lose
that
money, we
news
just
came
missed the
out.
trade.
How the heck a vote come out in the good and the market just fell like a pile of bricks? That was about the dumbest move in the world. That was stupid. That was just stupid.
Look
That's
at this
straight
right here.
market.
Does this look familiar? Like,
Yep.
for real.
Look at that.
Yeah, but Jamie, other than the news, like, other than the news, where
My friend told me before it happened
there would
exactly what
be
he
that there
said when
would be
the market,
divergence.
before the market opened, when 5 o'clock hits, every single GBP pair is going to shoot up. They shot up, hit the weekly, and he hit it like a brick wall and dropped. He made $425,000 the week that USD tried. I had never heard of USD try. He's like, hey, it was at 469. He said, I want you to buy this and hold it till $7. I put that 0.01, made $300. I'm like, what? What just happened here? And he's like, yeah, those are exotics. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, I really need to trade more exotics. But he trades straight fundamentals. He watches news and trades like the first night of Brexit a couple years ago, he made $100,000 overnight on Brexit. Because he follows the news. He can tell you fundamentally what's going to happen. Learning fundamentals in addition to market structure is just like steroids, putting it on steroids. So I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention to fundamentals.
And you said it's called
ForexFactory.com tells you about the news, but there's like sites like Bloomberg and CNN is where you're gonna get your fundamental move. You don't need it to make money. It's just an edge. It's a competitive edge. Like you'll know certain things that cause a market to spike up or spike down. And those spikes is where people make their money, like those Brexit spikes. Because those spikes are caused by sentimental outlook. Like if people are afraid of the market, it crashes. If they're confident in the market, it shoots up. Just like that little stuff that's going on in Saudi Arabia caused oil to shoot up because it is the prices. Because
and
they're
also
bombing.
your president confirmed that it was the U.S. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to the U.S. dollar.
Dropped. Yeah, the dollar dropped.
Hey, GG, the fundamentals, as far as the news, where does he go to see that at? Is it just
Bloomberg, CNN? You can get their feet. Like, see, the dollar finally broke. That's on the weekly. It's breaking. On the daily, it dropped today. On the 4 hour, it's just doing all kind of crazy stuff because there's instability in the market. People are unsure. Are we going to go to war? Oh my God, he's sending troops to Iraq. Oh shit, we're bombing in Saudi Arabia. It's like, so that's why the dollar is acting weird. Something like that is happening. Just be careful with your stop losses, because if we go to war or start bombing somebody, the dollar is going to drop. When it's over, the dollar will shoot back up. That's a sentimental move in the market. But like we saw with oil, it respected a previous price. But how long have we been waiting for oil to drop? Because this is a corrective sell pattern. It's in a sell zone. But they use news, the big dogs use news to manipulate the market, make money, and get out.
Exactly.
Till I said hello. Until I said to come on, learn how to trade too. Is she still in? No, he muted me now. He's over there on the other side of the world. I was over there. That's how I met Jamie. We were both in Afghanistan together. I know those calls.
Wow.
Calls, talk to your family. Small world, right? We met and didn't even know we had met until he had been on my Forex team for like a year. I'm like, oh my God, we were in the same
Wow.
in Afghanistan. Small world.
Wow.
But see, everybody
Wow.
had been selling this from the top of this channel. But Cinnamon put it right back up here. All right, anybody got anything else? This reminds me of those old Forex and chills where we used to sit up till 2:30 in the morning. It's midnight.
I remember that.
Yeah, we would just talk about anything. We would talk about the COT report, all kind of stuff. That's when Forex and Chill used to last 4 and 5 hours, and I'm like, y'all, we got to cut it down to 2 hours.
Oh wow. Okay. So I just got to work on this to get better.
All right, anybody got anything else before we jump off?
Thank you so much, Gigi, as always.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gigi. Appreciate it.
Honestly, the more somebody teaches, the more they learn. So you guys are helping me too.
And
Y'all
nice
are
to meet
too.
you. Nice to meet you, Jamie.
I think he's speaking to family. I heard his
Yeah. But to Judy Smith and everybody else that's on the phone, you know, it's a pleasure and an honor to be a part of the team. And I'm looking forward to you know, more ForexNChill and charts, whatever it takes.
ChartNChill.
ChartNChill, baby.
Yeah, everybody good?
ChartNChill.
Everybody just, the weekend's coming. Usually on Fridays, the market ends in a flag. So like if you get a strong impulse tomorrow and the market starts moving correctively, hold your trade over the weekend. Just move up your stop loss. All right. Because if you look at Fridays, we usually end in a flag. If you see the impulse up and then start flagging up, get out. If it impulses up, starts flagging down, hold it. Okay. Impulse down, flag down, get out. Because more than likely when the market opens up, you're going to have a gap to the upside for your reversal. All right. And next week, I'll start trading again. Y'all should see those who are on the team, which should be most everybody in here, on the Discord next week. Right here, Terrell, me and Lindor, and different ones. You'll see some trade signals start coming through. We hadn't been dropping any because none of us traded over the holidays. All right. All right, so y'all be blessed.
Thank you.
I say like the old folks say, stay safe because I'd rather talk to you than talk about you. All right. All right. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one.
Have a blessed night.
You too.